Welcome back, Star Wars Destiny fans. This is Symbio from T3 Gaming, and today I'm here for a special unboxing of the Star Wars Destiny Legacies set booster box here, which has 36 packs of the brand new Legacies set of awesome dice and cards that we all love so much. And I'm super excited about this because it starts the brand new Legacies cycle of cards in these white boxes, and there will be 3 total sets for this year, and that will be considered the Legacies cycle of cards, and it'll be part of what they call the Trilogies format in Star Wars Destiny, where you can only play cards in that set. This will be the second cycle of cards for Destiny, the first cycle being Awakenings. So just excited to see all the new mechanics, like these indirect damage signs, new characters, old characters. I think overall I'm probably most excited, of course, like a lot of people, to pull Yoda just because he is such an iconic character and I love playing blue heroes. I'm actually also excited to pull Maul. I think he's a sleeper in this set, being he is a legendary, and he's got a 12 side for a 1 die, 12 cost for 1 die and a 16 cost for 2, which is really good. So let's get going here. We're going to open this box and see what we pull. I'm actually going to go through and talk about each of the cards this time to help the newer players, or just if you want to listen to this on your way from work and you can get an idea of what the cards are in this set. All right, let's go with the crawl here. Dun, 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 dun. All right, enough of that. All right, let's go ahead and pop this box open. This is one of the best parts of playing these fun CCGs, is just opening up these and seeing what you can get. Now there are 36 boosters in a box, as you know, and these really nice white, all white package design. So let's go ahead and go into this. What I'm going to do is pull the cards out first, and then we will see what cards we get. All right, here we go. Let me get this thing to focus. Imperial Might. Resolve one of your dice, increasing its value by 2. So I'm going to step back a little bit further like that. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. I'll drop the brightness right there. All right. Imperial Might, a 2-cost red. Resolve one of your dice sides, increasing its value by 2. Pretty expensive, but kind of like Luke's power action, it also costs 2. It can quickly do a lot more damage like you need. We got Strength in Numbers, another 2-cost neutral red event. Deal indirect damage to an opponent equal to the number of exhausted characters you have. So very good for battle droids and or stormtroopers if you have an army type of team. All right, a yellow villain 1-cost event called Subdue. Choose a character that has 3 or more damage on it. Remove one of its character or upgrade dice. So if you've already damaged somebody, it's a 1-cost removal. So I've noticed in this set, they're putting in some kind of interesting removal cards, and they all usually have some kind of situation where it only works in that situation, but it is nice to have more removal cards. All right, and we've got a 1-cost neutral gray upgrade title called Bodyguard. This is a new one. It's an upgrade title, similar to the Master of the Council. Sorry. All right, so this says non-unique character only. Attached character has the Guardian keyword, so it just allows you to get Guardian onto one of your characters, which allows them to activate and basically kind of take the damage of a die that's on the board. So what do we get? For our rare die card is the modified HWK 290. This is a pretty insanely powerful support vehicle. It's a neutral gray, and look at these damage sides. It's got a 2, 3 range for a cost, a 3 indirect, a 4 indirect for a cost, and 1 resource, but it has kind of like a timeline on it. After you play this support, place 2 damage on it. After you activate this support, deal indirect damage to yourself equal to the damage on it. So it's not that it has a timeline on it. I think I was thinking of another one that goes away after it does damage. This, you actually put 2 damage on it, and that's not 2 damage from, it's not like healing your characters, you just put 2 damage counters on it. And then there are some things that can put damage, additional damage on it, but after you activate it each time, you have to take the indirect damage to yourself. So it's a very powerful weapon, but it does do damage to yourself. So put that aside. All right, let's see what we get in our next pack here. And what we might do is separate this out into maybe 4 videos. All right, here we got Ancient Wisdom. Ancient Wisdom is a 1-cost blue event, and it says draw 2 cards. A neutral blue event. Very cool. It's a very simple card. It's good for drawing if you need more cards, and also if you want to try to do launch bay shenanigans. That one deals damage based on the number of cards, or actually has an X value on it for the combat values. So based on the number of cards you have, you can discard more or do more damage. And here we got the 0-cost neutral red event called Target Intel. Resolve one of your dice showing indirect damage as if it were range damage. So very cool. Allows you to basically be able to use those indirect damages more for focused damage when you need it, and it's only 0 cost. So a lot of people kind of saying indirect damage may or may not be that good, but this card is kind of cool in that it lets you turn it into range damage when you need it. I do think indirect damage is actually going to be very powerful. Damage can stack fairly quickly. All right, Quick Holster. I've seen this in play a couple times in our sealed event. It's an upgrade neutral, a neutral 0-cost upgrade equipment. After you activate attached character, you may re-roll any number of their weapon dice. So it does take up an upgrade slot, but if you really want to maybe put a big weapon on somebody and you want to make sure you hit those sides, it could be very useful, like a rocket launcher or something. All right, we've got a 3-cost yellow event, Villain. A villain-only event, and this is Dr. Afra on here. Says deal 1 indirect damage to yourself to play a support or upgrade from your hand for free. So obviously it could save you some money. There are some fairly expensive weapons like the Pirate Speeder Tank, which I think is 5. So, you know, you play 3 and then you get to play that for free just to deal 1 direct damage. So if you're going to be playing a lot of expensive vehicles, especially yellow, then this is definitely a card to have to save you money. And lastly, we get Palpatine, Darth Sidious. This is the Palpatine from the Clone Wars, and he is a 16 for 1 die, 20 cost for 2 dice. He has 12 health, he's a villain blue character, and he's got all kinds of different damage sides for a reason. He's got 2 ranged, 2 melee, 2 indirect, and then 1 resource, 1 resource. He has a power action, and this is that new power action, which basically allows you to do those actions or abilities once per round. So it would be good to use like some kind of token to mark them. I've seen some people creating new tokens for power actions, which I think is great. And they also have added these new character keywords, which is super cool. I am hoping that they're going to add some kind of benefit to playing kind of a theme team. So if you have all the same keyword, like all Sith, maybe you get to maybe increase your health, maybe 1 or something like that. Anyway, this power action says play an event from your hand, decreasing its cost by the number of different damage symbols showing on your dice. So there can be a maximum of 3, which is pretty awesome. It means you can play a 3-cost event for free. Things like No Mercy, which is a 2-cost event. I think there's Now You Will Die, or Decisive Blow, which is also a blue event that you could play for free. But even just a 1-cost event for free is very, very good. So he's a really cool character. I think that we'll see a lot of him in play for sure. All right, moving on to the next pack here. The fun of opening packs. And let's see. Anybody else smell the cards? I love smelling the ink on the cards. I know it's terribly toxic, but I don't really care because it makes me feel good. All right, here we go. This is a pretty cool picture or art here of Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars. It's a 1-cost blue event, Hero. It says investigate an event. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Add 1 of them to your hand and place the rest on the top of your deck in the order of your choice. So for 1 cost, you basically get to draw a card and then to see in the future kind of what your deck can do for you in the next round. Now, I think these kind of cards would actually be better costed at 0 because they don't really, in Destiny being kind of a faster game, they don't really help you that much in the immediate turn. So I kind of feel like for 0 cost, because you only get 2 resources a turn, so it's kind of hard to spend 1 resources on something that just allows you to look into your deck and draw a card. I feel like a 0, this would see a lot more play. All right, we got another strength in numbers, which we saw that deal 2 indirect damage to an opponent equal to the number of exhausted characters you had. All right, here we got a new yellow hero event. It's got a picture of Han and Chewie smuggling. It's a 0 cost yellow event called Smuggler's Run. Activate one of your yellow characters. If one or more of its characters or upgrade dice just roll a resource, gain a resource. So that's really good because yellow usually has good resource size. Maz, I think, has 2. And so being able to get a resource immediately, anything that triggers off a dice or die being rolled instead of having to play a card is always good in my book. So better than logistics in the sense that even you don't have to spend an action to get it. So next we've got Double Strike, a blue 2-cost villain event. It says it's got a picture of Grand Inquisitor on there with his lightsaber. Resolve one of your dice showing melee damage without removing it from your pool. Ooh, okay, so this is kind of like a My Ally is a force for villains, except it only works on melee, but that's usually what you're using it on to try to take down somebody. It is an uncommon. This is going to be very powerful maybe in a Kylo 2 Anakin deck or any blue villain deck. Just having this card once could double your damage. Very nice. And then here we got Force Meditation for our dice card. A blue hero 2-cost upgrade ability. It's got a cool picture of Luke assembling his lightsaber. And he's got a 1 focus, 1 shield, 1 resource, and 2 specials. And the special says to play, sorry, it says discard the top 2 cards of a deck. So definitely good for, it's kind of like, it's actually better than Padme in the sense you don't have to pay to discard 2 cards, and it's got 2 special sides. So we'll definitely see this in like a Yoda special chaining mill deck. I've been playing around with a mill deck with Riken, and I really like it. I think this could definitely see play, but you do have to spot a blue character, and usually in those mill decks, the blue character is usually the last to die. So very cool card for some milling. All right. Moving on here. And I don't know if you guys want to see the dice, but we're just going to show you the cards since that way we don't give away what the awesome dice card is. All right, here we got a 3-cost hero yellow event called Bravado with Lando Calrissian on there. Spot a yellow character to remove an opponent's die, then deal 2 damage to a character. So wow, it's a 3-cost removal, which is non-situational. You can remove any die, and it does 2 damage. Not sure that's going to see that much play. Maybe in a Jyn Erso deck, or maybe anything that allows you to play an event for less, but 3 costs is a lot. Maybe something with Hidden Agenda, which it's a Spirit of Empire War card that I think that reduces the cost of events. All right, we've got, this card. I've seen this card already. It is Perseverance. It's a support, a 1-cost neutral blue support. This is one of the most epic scenes in the Empire Strikes Back when Luke is being saved by the Falcon. He's got his support says action, exhaust the support to re-roll one of your dice, then you may re-roll it again. So it's a 1-cost that sticks around throughout the game that allows you to re-roll a die 2 times. So it's kind of like a constant roll on. 0-cost quick draw holster, already saw that one. And then a 1-cost neutral red event called Reinforce with some cool Death Trooper scene on there. Reinforce, roll a character die on one of your characters into your pool if you have another copy of that character in play. So that's pretty cool. It allows you to get another roll of that die into your pool when you already have like an army. So it helps these battle droids, stormtroopers, 4-wide, 5-wide character decks to even get more dice on the board, which they kind of need to ramp up and get more damage out quickly. So lastly, we have the Separatist Landing Craft, a 2-cost villain red support vehicle. When talking about armies, this one creates them. It's got a shield, a 2 shield, a resource, and a special that says spend 2 resources to add a battle droid to your team. Discard this support from play. So basically once you use it, you can't use it anymore. Unless you can get this back out, maybe with, I don't know if you can get, I don't know if cheat can't get out events. And let's see. Oh, a docking bay can get this out for 1 less. So there is a way to get this back multiple times, so you can get more battle droids on your force if you're playing a crazy battle droid deck. Very good card. So haven't seen any legendaries yet here, folks. Let's see. We've opened 3 so far. No, let's see, 4 so far. So let's see what we got on this one. So fun opening packs. Let's see. All right. Here we got Respite, a 0-cost neutral blue with Anakin and Padme, I guess, on there. Yeah, well, it doesn't look like Padme, but hey, artist's impression here. Exhaust one of your characters to gain 1 resource and draw a card. Ooh. I don't know if you're ever going to want to exhaust a character just to get a resource, but maybe. Might be some mechanics in there that would be good for that. We got 0-cost red hero event called Refit. Play a vehicle from your hand, decreasing its cost by 1, then place 1 damage on it. So there is a new mechanic that allows damage to be placed on vehicles, and I think some supports. I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look at the rules later, because even if that card doesn't say it has any, it's not going to like get removed or discarded based on a number of damage. There are mechanics that deal with damage. So I think, as one of our local players said, you just put damage on it, and if it doesn't say it does anything with it, then that's fine. You just leave it. So this is just going to help one of the new mechanics in the game. 0-cost hero red. Hopefully it'll help the villain decks get a little stronger. All right, we got a Greedo here, or some kind of, yeah, Rodarian. We got a 1-cost yellow villain event called Rumors. It says, force an opponent to choose a card in their hand. Then look at all of the other cards in their hand and discard one of them. That's interesting. Force an opponent to choose a card in their hand, then look at all the other... Oh, okay, so basically they get to save 1 card from you taking it away. Friends in Low Places is still so much better. I mean, I guess if you want to try to get rid of an upgrade or something, this is a little bit better because Friends in Low Places doesn't do that, but they do get to save 1 from you taking it away. But still pretty good in a mill deck and maybe even strategically. All right, next we've got Night Sister Coven. This is a 1-cost blue villain support that says, after a character die, rolls a blank. You may exhaust this support to reveal the top card of a deck. Any deck, could be yours, could be your opponent's. And it also, just to point out, it does say character die rolls a blank. So a character die has to roll a blank. You can't use anything else. And then you get to look at the top card of a deck, and if the cost is an odd number, you deal 1 damage to that character. So it does say a character, so you would never probably want to do it to yourself unless there's some reason to. Now, there might be a mechanic in here, I don't know. But it's a pretty cool card, very situational, but very good, I think, for the Night Sisters and Mother Talzin decks. So, all right, and here we got Newt Gunray, a cool character. He's going to be a red villain. Let's see, he costs 8 for 1 die, 11 for 2 dice, which is very cheap. I think they definitely are starting to nail down the cost of some of these good support characters. He's got 8 health, which is average, not bad. He's got a 1 indirect, 1 focus, 2 disrupt. So he's kind of going to be one of those characters that chokes your opponent. And then a 1 resource and a +1 resource. And, you know, so he's making money. He's got character with a leader keyword. And he has a special ability here, which is pretty nasty. Each opponent gains 1 fewer resource during the upkeep phase, to a minimum of 1, unless that opponent discards the top 2 cards of their deck. So what that means is, like, the first turn, this doesn't actually apply because it's during the upkeep phase. And since there's no upkeep phase first turn, it would be the second turn that it happens. And so basically your opponent, if you're playing Newt, your opponent would have to choose before they draw cards. Pretty sure. Yeah. Actually, I think it's before you discard cards, you gain your resources. So basically, and I'll double check that. Let me know in the comments if that's true or not. But they have to choose at that point to either discard the top 2 cards of their deck or have 1 resource. So that way they don't get to draw first and then discard the top 2. So he's going to be really strong in mill. I've seen him played on TTS with Vader. I mean, it's just going to make the choke villain mill decks even better. So, all right. So still no legendaries here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do 3 more for this video, and then we'll separate it out so they're a little easier to watch instead of one massive long video. Let's see what we got here. We've got, I love this card, big hero blue player. So this is a 0-cost blue hero event that says remove 1 shield from one of your characters to gain 1 resource. So this is probably going to be a must play in a lot of blue hero decks. Obi-Wan Maz, you know, being able to get a resource quickly from removing a shield if you're already generating a lot of shields, like from the Shoto or from Obi-Wan's ability or from Caution. Just getting another resource allows you to play those 3-cost or expensive ones fairly quickly. All right, now we got a 3-cost neutral red event that says Law and Order, called Law and Order, and says spot a red character to discard and upgrade from play. Wow, that's pretty powerful. It does cost 3, but allows you to get rid of an upgrade. Now, that includes abilities, which up until now, we hadn't had a way to get rid of, like Force Illusion, which is one of the most annoying cards in the game. I play it all the time, so, you know, but 3 costs to remove it, that's a lot of money. There might be a way to decrease costs of red events that I'm not aware of. Again, if you play this with Palpatine and you have 3 damage sides showing, you can get that for free. So pretty cool. Now we have a neutral gray event, 0-cost Ice Storm, also from Empire Strikes Back, the Hoth scene. Very cool scene. I can't wait for a Hoth Luke. This is an event that says remove 1 shield from a character, each character actually. So that's pretty cool. You could remove, if a 3-character list, that's 3 shield removal for 0 cost. I like how they're adding these neutral cards in that kind of balance out the other. So if you get there's Take Cover that gives you a shield. It doesn't give you a shield on every character, but this is some shield, as they call it, hate or anti-shield tech that we most certainly need right now. So next we have a 1-cost hero gray event called Into the Garbage Chute. Event, exhaust one of your characters to remove up to 2 dice showing damage. So just to clarify again, anytime it says showing damage in previous cards, if there was just a ranged or melee, that would also include indirect damage. So they did change that to allow for indirect, so just want everybody to know that. This is a pretty good removal card. It removes 2 dice for 1 cost, but it does require you to exhaust a character, which a lot of times you're not going to want to do, but if you're going to take 8 damage or 6 damage, it might be worth it. So, all right, and here we got Dark Advisor, a villain blue character with 8 health that only costs 8. He's got a 1 indirect, 2 indirect, 1 focus, 1 resource, and a special. And the special says draw 3 cards, then place a card from your hand on the top or bottom of your deck. So it's pretty cool. He definitely works thematically with maybe the Night Sisters and maybe Palpatine, but being able to see, to choose which card is going to be on the top is very helpful for those ones that allow you to look at the top card. He's also got 2 indirect damage sides and a focus, so none of these sides are really bad and very well costed for a support character. So, all right, so let's go and do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do 2 more. Still haven't gotten a legendary out of this, which is okay, as long as I get the one I want. Haha. Let's see. All right. So, all right, talk about anti-shield tech. Here is another anti-shield tech card from this set. It's a 1-cost villain blue event called Frighten, with a pretty sick picture of, actually that's a Maul on there. It says Ambush. So Ambush, if you don't already know, allows you to just take another action after you play the card. Remove a total of up to 3 shields from any number of characters. So it's pretty cool. It doesn't have to happen from one character like Intimidate, but and you can choose. So if you have 2 on one character, 1 on another, you can remove them all. All right, here we got a 0-cost villain red event that's called Target Practice. Reroll any number of your red dice, then reroll any number of your red dice. So pretty good for just being able to get your red dice to be hit damage sides or whatever you need. All right, we got a 0-cost yellow neutral event called Hasty Exit. It says, give control of the battlefield to an opponent to remove a die showing damage. Now this is an awesome mitigation card, I think, because a lot of times, especially if you're playing a fast deck, you're going to get the battlefield anyway, so you're not really giving up anything, and it's removing any die side, any damage side, which is really powerful. And for 0 cost, it works on villains and heroes. I think this is going to be a meta card. You're going to see this as one of the go-to removal cards, at least for fairly fast decks. Maybe you're even if you're going to give control of the battlefield, sometimes it's worth it just to get rid of a die. All right, cool. This is this card I've been waiting to see. It is a 4-cost event called Final Moment. It's the epic final scene of Rogue One, and it is an uncommon. It is a hero red event, and it says ready each of your characters. After the action phase ends, you lose the game. So basically what that means is, like, after you've exhausted all your characters and you play this card, now it costs 4, you can ready all of your characters, but you better win the game that turn. So now, a lot of times at the end of games, or close to the end of games, you have a lot of resources, but you got to have this at the right time, at the right moment. It's very thematic. Me and a friend have been talking about just playing a theme decks, and this would be very good in a Jin deck of any sort. Now, unfortunately, we don't have Cassian yet, but hopefully he'll be coming. All right, next, we've got the ETA-2 Interceptor. This is a Jedi from the Clone Wars vehicle. It's a 3-cost hero blue support vehicle. It's got 1 ranged damage, 2 ranged damage, 3 indirect damage, 1 shield, and 1 resource. So better than the Delta Interceptor, in my opinion. Same cost though, and it has an action that says remove this die or one of your dice showing a shield to exhaust a support. So this is clearly kind of like what you would play against other supports, but even if you didn't do the action, I still think it's a pretty good support for if you're trying to build some kind of blue vehicles in addition to other vehicles. We have yet to see a lot of people play vehicles outside of a vehicle deck. I'd like to see some vehicles played outside of them. I think being able to get out a vehicle to help out is really cool, thematic, and should be fairly powerful because they stick around while your characters don't. So we will go ahead and show off the die real quick for each of the cards, you know, just so you guys can see them. All right, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, I think we're gonna do one more here. Got another Frighten, so we don't need to go over that again. Focus that. Another Target Practice, which we don't need to go over again. And then we got No Good to Me Dead, a yellow 0-cost villain event that says heal up to 2 damage from an opponent's character. So you're healing your opponent's character, which you usually don't want to do. There's got to be a reason, and it says gain resources equal to the amount of damage you just healed. So you can heal up to 2, or you could just heal 1. So if you just want 1 resource, you can heal 1 damage, you know, go for it. If you need the money, it's kind of like a quick way of getting money where maybe you're doing more damage and you need that resource instead. So it's very situational, but it might see some play. Next, we've got a really cool 0-cost neutral blue event that says Stronger You Have Become. Now this is from the Empire Strikes Back Again scene where Yoda is training Luke, and it's a blue event that says count the number of upgrades you have in play. So like as you've been building and becoming stronger, right, as you play more upgrades, it says reroll up to that many dice. So it's a pretty cool card. Even with 1 upgrade, it's a reroll. Of course, you can always discard to reroll. But, you know, it could be yours or your opponent's. So that's where it's going to be more powerful, just being able to get other people's dice off of those damage sides. All right, and lastly, we have the Archangel. It's a 2-cost support vehicle, villain yellow support vehicle. It's got a 1 ranged, 2 indirect, 1 shield, a 2 shield for a cost, and a resource. And it says, after you activate this support, activate up to 2 of your other supports in the order of your choice. So very, very good on a vehicle deck because it allows you to get all those vehicles out. It's only 2 cost. It's only villains though, so you know you can't play it in the Maserati deck. But just being able to activate those vehicles all at one time is very powerful. And if you play, Kai played this with the Millennium Falcon in a sealed game where we were ignoring rules, and the Falcon also has that ability that allows you to activate a character. So he was activating all of his supports and a character at the same time. So pretty cool card. Actually, what I think I'm going to do instead is just do 2 different videos. So we're going to do 16 packs in one video and then the rest in the other video. So let's go on to pack number 9 here, see what we got. So, and interesting, no legendaries yet, so maybe pulling from the bottom isn't the best idea. I've heard some people pulling from the tops. Here we got a 2-cost red villain event called Imperial Might. Pretty cool AT-ATs in the background. We've got, it says resolve one of your dice, increasing its value by 2. Oh, we already did this one, didn't we? Yep, we did. So, all right, moving along, we've got a neutral gray support, which is 1 cost, called Backup Specialist. Says the action exhausts the support to reroll up to 2 of your dice. So it looks like there's a lot of dice rerolling in this set, usually fairly cheap, either 0 or 1, which I think is good for them to add because it gives you the chance to get something without, and still leaves chance in the game, which, you know, some people like, some people don't. So we've got a yellow, a neutral yellow event. It costs 1. It's called Counter Strike. Counter Strike says resolve one of your dice showing damage, any type of damage here, increasing its value by 2 if an opponent resolved 1 or more dice showing that same damage symbol during their last turn this round. So it has to be during the last turn. If somebody resolves a ranged damage on you, you can pay 1 if you've got this in your hand to resolve one of your ranged damage sides, increasing it by 2. So very situational because you got to play against somebody who's resolving similar damage sides. But in the new meta, or at least in the new Legacies or Trilogies format, you're going to see a lot of different damage sides because this set has all kinds of different damage sides all over the place. A lot of mixed damage, so you might see that more play. All right, now this card I've been waiting for. I've seen it on TTS. It is it is called Vandalize, and it is a yellow 1-cost neutral event. It says remove a number of your character dice equal to the cost of a support or upgrade in play to discard it. So the reason why I've been waiting for this is because, as I said before, Force Illusion is one of those cards that has been very difficult to get rid of, and it can really dramatically shift the tempo of a game. So being able to have something that counters that, which up until now we didn't really have other than unblockable damage, this would allow you to remove one of your character dice. It could be like an Ezra die, or, you know, and then it just would remove that upgrade from play. So very good. I like that. All right, woo! We got a Maul's lightsaber. So this is pretty sick. This is my first legendary. It is a villain blue upgrade, blue character only. It costs 3. And look at those damage sides. 2 melee, which is the only base damage side, and then we've got a +2 melee, +3 melee, +4 melee, and a 1 resource. So this is probably one of the hardest hitting 3-cost lightsabers out there. And it's also got a power action. So for the power action says, if an opponent has no shields on all of their characters, re-roll this die into your pool. So if you're playing an anti-shield deck, and you can get rid of them with Frighten, Intimidate, and that is pretty much like the theme behind Maul, right? In all of Destiny, we see him being those cards that are like removing shields. He gets to re-roll this back in, so that could really take somebody out in 1 turn. So very cool card. I'm happy I got this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the die real quick, since it's such a cool, cool upgrade. Here's the die, and so far, luckily, I haven't had any problems with the dice. I saw some people online who had. And that's always sad because, you know, they're not going to replace the die itself. They will, if you contact Asmodee, they will give you another pack, but not actually replace the die, which a lot of CCG companies do, like if you pull like a legendary or chase or something. All right, so here we got a blue neutral event called Mislead. Pretty cool picture of Obi-Wan there with Luke in the background talking to one of the Jawas. It's a 1-cost event, and it says remove a character die to showing a value of 2 or less. So that's okay, removal. It's only a character die, so it's like isolation but not as good because it's 2 or less. And usually when you're removing a character die, like you know, we're gonna be dealing with a lot of 30-cost character dice, so I don't think this is gonna see that much play. Pretty good in draft and sealed though. All right, and here we got a pretty dope picture of Baze here. It is called Light 'em Up, a red hero event. Costs 1, says reroll one of your dice. If it just rolled range damage, you may resolve that die and another one of your dice showing range damage, increasing one of their values by 2. Wow, that's pretty awesome. So if you have like a +2 or a +3 range showing and you have a blank or something on one of your other ranged dice and you get to play this, you get to reroll that blank. And if it hits range damage, you can increase either of those dice by 2. One of them only, but still, +2 damage for 1 cost and a reroll is very good. This is going to be a must-play in any Hero Red villain deck. I mean, sorry, Hero Red range deck, any kind of vehicles or weapons. So, very cool card. Now we have a neutral event here called Defend. It's a 2-cost, fairly expensive, so it's got to do something powerful. It's got a cool picture of Yoda on it. It says Ambush, so again, gets to take an action after you play the card. Remove up to 3 dice showing melee damage. So it's like a block, except it's got Ambush. And it's only for melee, so it's pretty cool because usually you're not removing more than 3 melee damage. Sometimes you are, but more likely, like dodge is still better for range damage in my opinion. But it does give you ambush, so I think, especially in the trilogies format, I think this is kind of like the new block. So, all right, next we have a red hero event called Special Modification. Special Modification costs 1, and it says remove 3 damage from a support or turn a support die to any side. So very good on all those vehicle decks. Anything that is taking damage, this for 1 cost could remove 3 damage from that support. So some of the supports that are, you gotta discard after they take damage and stuff, this is a must play probably. All right, and we get our final die card is gonna be Rose, Skilled Mechanic from Last Jedi. It is a red hero character. She has 9 health. She has, her dice sides are 2 indirect, 1 disrupt, 1 discard, and 2 specials. So her special says gain 1 resource, and then you may remove 1 damage from a support. So she's there to kind of heal your supports or fix your supports, anything that's taking damage. She is going to be fairly situational in certain decks. I've seen some, I think Sir Christopher, shout out to Sir Christopher, I really enjoy his stream on TTS. He was, I think, playing this with the new Obi-Wan and saying that it's pretty cool. It's only 8 for 1 die and then 11 for 2 dice, and you're getting 9 health, so very good just to get those red characters in your decks. Even if you're not healing the supports, you are gaining a resource, so it's like 2 resource sides, which is still very good. And she's doing a little bit of damage, so not bad. All right, I think we're going to forego showing the dice because that just takes a little longer here, and we all know what these dice look like. All right, so moving on, we've got Consumed by the Dark Side, a blue villain event. It's a 0 cost. It says deal 1 damage to 1 of your blue characters to turn a die to a side showing a blank. So take a damage, turn a die to a side showing blank. Now there is some blank, there's some blanks mechanic in this set that I don't remember exactly what it was, but anything I think that allows you to use those blanks to your advantage, this would be a good card in. All right, we got a card called a yellow event, neutral yellow event called Quick Draw. It's a 0 cost. And it says play a weapon from your hand on one of your characters. Still got to pay its cost, but then you may activate that character. So it's kind of like a little bit of action cheating. It's very appropriate for what it's called. It's kind of like what Rey does in the first Awakening set. You know, after you play a weapon, you get to activate the character. So it just makes them a little faster. Pretty useful, I think. I don't know if it would see much play in sealed, but you know, it could, because it just gives you a little bit of chance to get out there faster if you want to claim the battlefield. All right. This is a card that might be like the new Thermal Detonator. I keep seeing a lot of it. Not Thermal Detonator, Thermal Paint, the one in Empire War. We got like 1,000 of them. I've seen a lot of this already. It is a yellow, zero-cost hero event called Impulsive, with a picture of Chewie on there. And it's got Ambush, and it says resolve one of your dice. So another card that just allows you to speed up a little bit. Now, what's nice about these is there is a little bit of action cheating, but not a lot. So when you play it, it allows you to resolve one of your dice and then allows you to do something else. So in this situation, you're not like rolling out a character to get the ambush. You're just resolving a die. All right. Ooh, I love this card so much, and it's almost, I'd say, potentially broken. It is a one-cost hero blue event called Ataru Strike. And it's a picture of Ayla Secura on there, slicing down a battle droid. It is, like I said, one cost, and it says resolve one of your blue character dice showing melee damage. So important, people, to see that it's character dice. It's not any blue die showing melee damage. So probably not as broken as I thought, but on Obi-Wan, still, if he's got 3 shields on him, let me finish reading the sentence, increasing its value by the number of shields on that character. So if you have 3 shields on Obi-Wan, he hits that 3 and you play this for 1, you're doing 6 damage, which is insane for 1 cost. And you don't even have to remove those shields. And that was what I was a little surprised at. I kind of felt like it could have been more of like a riposte, where you can remove the number of shields to increase the amount of damage. I think that would have been a little bit more balanced. This is going to be a must play in any blue hero shielding deck, because you're just paying 1 to increase damage and you don't have to remove those shields. Now, you know, I guess it is a character die, but you've got characters even like Qui-Gon, and you got a 2 melee on there, so that's 4 damage there for 1 cost. Oh, sorry, 5 damage potentially if you have 3 shields. All right, my die card is a ground battalion upgrade. No, a support. It is a neutral red support. 4 costs, fairly expensive, but it's got a 2 range damage, a 2 indirect, a 3 indirect, a 4 indirect 4 cost, and 1 shield. So 60% damage sides, and it has an action ability that says after you activate this support, you may take control of the battlefield. So it doesn't claim the battlefield, it just means you take control of it, so it allows you to play things like dug in defensive position, things that you need the battlefield for, which is pretty cool. Very thematic, but very expensive support. So, all right, next pack here. We will take out all of those awesome dice later. All right, you know, crazy, this is our first plot. I actually bought another booster the other day and I got like 6 plots, but this is my first plot. The plots are a new mechanic in the game and very cool. They allow you to add points to your team. So if you're under 30 points by like 1 or 2 or even 3, you can add a plot to give your team additional abilities. So this one says it's called Stolen Intel, and it's a 2-cost plot, neutral gray. I think all of the plots are neutral gray. It says after setup, draw a card. So it just allows you to draw an extra card, which could be very useful if you're not able to mulligan for what you need. So new plot. We already looked at Backup Specialist. All right, a new yellow hero event called Scruffy Looking Nerf Herder. It says choose one of the following card types: event, support, or upgrade. Then look at an opponent's hand and discard a card of the chosen type from it. Pretty cool. I don't think it's that great though. Like, it's definitely not as good as Friends in Low Places, which is a neutral yellow event from I think Spirit of Rebellion, that costs 0. This costs 1 to discard 1 card, and you have to guess kind of one of those in order to get it. Now you do get to look at the hand, but I don't think this is going to see that much play. Unless, you know, it's maybe specifically just for like hero yellow. All right, we've got a new neutral yellow event called Lure, and it's also 1 cost. It has Ambush, very cool, always nice to see Ambush. Choose an opponent's character or support and force them to activate it if able. So that's pretty cool. I like the theme here. Basically, you're kind of like luring them in and trying to get them to activate their support. It is a character 2, so you could force someone to activate before they have put their upgrade on them. You can force Django to activate so he doesn't trigger. So that's awesome. I like this card a lot, actually. For 1 cost, it could totally mess up somebody's plans and turns. And it's got Ambush. So you get to do that, you get to force them to activate and then like remove one of their dice or something. So I love it. This is a good card, new mechanic. And we got Obi-Wan Kenobi, Jedi Master. So he is only a rare, but he's gonna be a big meta character, I think, in this new set. He is a blue hero, of course. He's a 15 cost for 1 die and a 19 cost for 2 dice, which is very cool. I wish that they had done that with Luke Skywalker. And actually, if you compare his dice to Luke, Luke probably should have been an 18. So he's got a 3 damage melee side, a 3 melee for a cost, 1 shield, 1 shield, and 1 resource. And it has this amazing ability here that says, after you activate this character, you may give a character 1 shield. So he is just generating shields so much with those 1 shields. Now, of course, he also has those 3 damage sides, and with, like I said, with the Taru Strike, there's a lot of synergy here with his lightsaber, which allows him to deal damage with shields. Such a cool character. He's going to be very powerful, as he should be, being Obi-Wan Kenobi. So excited about him. All right. Bravado, we've already seen this one. Make sure I'm focusing here. Perseverance, already seen that one too. Subdue, yep, we already saw that one. That's the one that removes damage. All right, so here we got our first battlefield. And that's a thing I noticed about Legacies so far, is that you're not getting like 100 battlefields, which is, I think, really good, because we had so many extra battlefields. And I think, and when they first designed the game, they were probably like, we want to make sure everybody gets those, especially if they're maybe playing their own sealed format or something. But in this situation, you don't really need them. All right, so this one's a new one called Launch Deck Home 1. Its claim ability says remove 1 of your dice to deal indirect damage to an opponent equal to half of the value showing on it, rounded up. So if it's got 3 and it's half, it's going to do 2. So that's pretty cool. It just does indirect damage, so it could put out a lot of damage for a fast deck here. But you know, it is remove 1 of your dice, so you're going to have to get rid of it to do that damage. So pretty good. All right, here's our dice card. It is a Camouflaged Rifle. It is a 3 cost red hero upgrade. It's got a 3 range damage for a cost, a plus 3 range damage, a 1 shield, 1 resource, and a special. And the special says deal 2 damage to a character, or 3 damage instead if you control the battlefield. So you definitely want to control the battlefield with this one, I think, but still 2-3 damage sides are pretty good. It doesn't have any kind of redeploy or ambush, is what we really look for in terms of amazing weapons. But still very good, I think, for, you know, if you have a way of focusing or getting to those 3 damage sides. If you're just basing on rerolls, I wouldn't say it's all that playable. All right, getting a little full on my table here, but should be moving faster now that we've gone through a lot of these cards. All right, this is Respite, we've already seen, and I apologize if I repeat some cards because I don't remember all of them, but we already seen that one. It resolves indirect as range damage. We've already seen Rumors. This is a new one, Command Bridge. a villain red support. Now this one is a location. I think that's pretty new too. It is a 1 cost, and it says exhaust this support to activate 2 of your non-unique characters in the order of your choice. So again, very good card, probably a must-play for battle droid decks, 4-wide, stormtroopers, that kind of thing. Exhaust this support to activate 2 of your non-unique characters in the order of your choice. So it allows you to keep doing it. It is probably better than Wingman in some way. Not as good as Deploy. Deploy Squadron is for supports. But you know, battle droids already have a mechanic that allows them to activate. So I don't know if that'll see that much play, but we'll see. We've got a 2-cost Hero Red support. So quite a few supports still in this set. Mortar Team. Now this is all about indirect damage. We got a 1 indirect, 1 indirect, 2 indirect, 2 indirect, and 1 disrupt. Support artillery. It says while you control the battlefield, you may resolve the indirect damage sides of this die as if there were range damage. So you get to basically, there was that other card that turns indirect into range. So this also has the ability to turn indirect to range, but you have to control the battlefield. So a lot of these, they're adding a new mechanic with these more of like battlefield or war cards where you're dealing with artillery and armies, which is a big part of Star Wars. And if you like that whole mechanic, you have to control the battlefield in order to get other benefits. So I think that's very thematic, and I'd like to see more decks where you're talking about battlefields. Sorry, you're kind of having rebellion armies fighting against the Empire and that kind of thing. So. All right, let's see what we got here. I did get a peek of the die. Oh, all right. Well, we'll move on here. All right, let's see. Already got this one, Bravado. Already saw this one, Light 'em Up. This is a new one we haven't seen. It's called Feel the Force. It is a blue neutral event that costs 1, and it says turn a blue die to any side. So it's kind of like Use the Force or Concentrate, except it's a little more limiting in the sense it has to be a blue die. Actually, I think Use the Force is also a blue die. But yeah, so you can turn your opponent's die to a side too. Again, it's good to have these kind of cards in this set because in the Trilogies format, you're going to need them if you don't have the Awakenings. So, all right, and here's a new Hero Yellow support, also location. It's a 0-cost support called Maz's Vault. It is a unique support, so you can only play 1 of them. You can include more than 1 in your deck, but you can't play more than 1 of them. And it says each player gains 1 additional resource during the upkeep phase. So basically this is going to be an ongoing kind of moisture farm or truce. It is each player, so it's not just you, unfortunately. So I don't know how I feel about that. It is a 0 cost and basically allows everybody to get more money, which could speed up the game dramatically. So if you have a lot of expensive upgrades and you really need to get them out, this might be a way to do it with the new Well-Connected and Truce. All right, and we got Force Rend. This is a new villain blue upgrade that costs 3. It's got a 2 range, plus 2 ranged, 1 resource, and 2 special sides. I do like how they're adding more special sides to dice so that you can get those specials more often. But not that into the special chaining. I think a little bit is okay, but I think it's a little crazy. Anyway, this one says blue character only, like almost all upgrade abilities, I think, for Force users. Special says spend resources equal to the cost of a support or upgrade in play to discard it. I don't really like this card that much. I saw it the other day. You're only getting 1 base damage side for 3 costs and a +2 ranged. It is a villain, so obviously it does pair well with some villain decks, but just spending resources in order to discard a support or upgrade. I mean, I guess going back, it's better. It's a little better than I thought because I'm realizing now it's an upgrade, not a weapon. So you can get rid of Force Illusion. So this is another one of those cards that gets rid of things. But paying 3 to get this card out and then get the special just to remove, it's just a little slow. By the time you get there, you may or may not have a character left to deal with. So, but we'll see. I think it could be very, very good if you're just if you can get it early in the turn and then overwrite it later with a weapon. So, all right. Let's see what we got next. I don't even know what number we're on, but we'll figure that out later. All right, cool. We got some witch magic here. I don't think we've seen this one. This is a 1-cost villain blue event. It says reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and do not rearrange them. Heal damage from a character equal to the number of cards you just revealed that cost an odd number. So wow, that is really good. If you build a deck designed with a bunch of odd cards, you could heal 3 damage from your character for just 1 cost. Now, of course, what you probably want to do is play a card that allows you to rearrange the top 5 cards in your deck first. And I think there are, I don't remember the names of those cards, but they do have those cards. All right, next card we have is a Shrapnel Blast. I don't think we've seen this one yet. It is a villain red event. It does cost 1. It says deal 1 indirect damage to an opponent. Then you may remove a character die belonging to the character that was just dealt indirect damage. So that's pretty cool. Just 1 damage isn't bad, but you don't get to choose which character dice it is. So you know, most often they're going to choose, you know, because it's indirect damage, they're going to choose who takes the damage, and it's probably going to be somebody who doesn't have a character die out. So it's a very situational removal that you don't have a lot of control over. But then again, I don't know whether Red Villain actually has that many removal cards. I don't play Red Villain that often. There is Best Defense, which is pretty insane. So I don't know if that's going to see much play. It's pretty good. We already saw Ice Storm. I really love that card. And here's our next plot. It says Fortify. After setup, give a character 1 shield. So it is a 2 cost. So it just gives you an additional shield to start with. I really like that. Shields are really strong right now. So if you have a deck that is at 28, this is a really good play, especially for heroes. All right, lastly, we got the Canto Bite Pistol. Not a fan of Canto Bite, but we won't go into that. All right, Canto Bite Pistol. It's a 3-cost neutral gray upgrade. It has got 3 range damage for a cost, a 2 indirect damage, 1 shield, 1 resource, and a special. Now it does have redeploy, which is awesome, and that just means that after the character is defeated, you get to move the weapon to another character, so you don't lose the weapon. Because if it doesn't have redeploy, it just goes to the discard pile. The special says deal 2 damage to a character or 3 damage instead if it is a villain. So this is obviously better for a hero deck. And actually, if you look, obviously in draft though, you know, you can play heroes and villains, so in draft this will probably be situational. But if it is damage, it is 3 damage sides for 3 costs, so not bad, and it is giving you a shield and a resource, so not terrible sides here. So I can definitely see this in being played. It does have redeploy. All right, so that is actually 16, so that's going to be the end of our video for this this segment. I'm just going to lay out the legendaries real quick. Well, went back on 16 and this is the only legendary I got. So the next video is going to have 5 legendaries, so you probably want to watch that one next. Alright you guys, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. We appreciate all the likes and views. Let us know in the comments section if you'd like to see other Destiny content, and we will try to work on delivering. Alright, bye-bye.